Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first start by thanking the organizers for their kind invitation to make to address the conference today, and apologize in advance for keeping you later than what you had expected, at least according to the schedule. But I promise not to be too long. Of course, beware of academics promising that they will not be long in their lectures. Anyway, the topic of my presentation today is security challenges in the future Internet. Allow me to point your attention to the fact that my affiliation is not only the University of Piraeus, but also the Hellenic Authority for Information and Communication Security and Privacy. And I guess this is the main affiliation today, at least with regards to that lecture. And let me also make a confession. I don't particularly like futurology. In fact, I dislike it, particularly if it is scientific futurology, and therefore I would not feel very happy talking about future Internet unless future Internet is what I believe is already here, at least most of its elements. Now, since I will be talking about security in the future Internet, I need to briefly review some of its characteristics that affect the security issues. The future Internet will not be just an evolution of what we see today, so it's not an extension of what we see today. It's not anymore a network that will reach out to terminals as we know it today, but a set of objects, including, of course, terminals, that will be able to have their own connectivity halo. And this will be able to connect to other such halos. And, of course, apart from objects being able to communicate between themselves, there will always be independent objects with embedded communication capabilities. And they will all together form a communication network able to connect to other communication networks. Now, if that reminds you of the original conception of the Internet as a network of networks, this is not accidental. In fact, it is a return to the future. It is, I think, quite widely believed that the Internet protocol will be the dominant protocol in the future Internet. What I would like to point out is that it is unlikely that IP will be the only protocol that the future Internet will be using, and you can substantiate this claim by simply thinking that we are expecting to have all sorts of networks in the future Internet that cannot, at least with today's technology, support the use of heavy protocols like IP. And examples of that you can think in body area networks, smart clothing and things like that, or the personal area networks, or even in VANs, vehicular area networks. So that means that we're moving into an area of less heterogeneity that we have today. So if you put all that together, it seems that the Internet of the future will be a seamless fabric of classic networks and networked objects at the same time. And this brings us to a first conclusion here that has some security significance, that we will be needing new approaches in terms of architectures, interfaces, new ways of managing data, new ways of integrating all the entities. And these entities are, of course, devices, they are sensors, they are services, they are things, and last but not least, they are people. Now, if you look at these in a little more detail, the future Internet will need to be architected differently, primarily because you will be having a seamless mobility in the future Internet. That is a dominant characteristic that we expect to be there and which will affect the way that the network will be architected. At the same time, we will have personal information and content available anywhere, anytime. And moreover, we will be having context-aware environments, meaning that the environment will be able to have intelligence that will let itself know what the context is and let it act accordingly. Another characteristic is that we will experience new ways of creating value in the web-based service economy. One of the sources that I used in preparing this presentation, and which I will let you have at the end in my final slide, is built around a set of scenarios for the future of use in the future Internet. And one of those is a scenario entitled Design Your Own Car. The scenario is that you will be able to communicate with the central facilities of your favorable car manufacturer and actually make design decisions that will allow you to personalize the car that you will be having in a few months at your door. That means, of course, that this is a new web-based service, even though elements of that are already there in several manufacturers of equipment. At least I know there is one regarding agricultural machinery like tractors and things like that. And this is one example only of what we will experience in terms of merging of the physical and the digital world. The future Internet will also increasingly include things. Unfortunately, I missed Professor Negriponte's presentation of yesterday, but I had the pleasure of attending his lecture 10 years ago when he was invited by the Onassis Foundation, and I was in the organizing committee of that lecture, talking about the Internet in 10 years' time. Now, I remember very well that one of the examples that he said was that your daughter's doll will be equipped with communication and artificial intelligence facilities, and therefore you will be able to communicate with your daughter's doll. Now, this is a slightly less romantic example here, but I guess that not in the very near future you will be able to talk to your washing machine or to your refrigerator and make it